Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:06. It's our fourth hour here. It's better than that, though. It's our 20th hour of 20 hours this week, right?
Oh, wow. Whew.
Let's see who else is doing 20 hours a week here on WMAL. The answer is nobody. But we get it done. We're kicking it, and we are loving our Friday program. We're about to launch you into a lovely weekend here in your nation's capital, and right into our Sunday Free Speech Forum event at the Birchmere. For those of you who are joining us, we can't wait to see you. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll speak with our buddy Kurt Schlichter. I'm Larry O'Connor. That's Patrice Onwuka. Good morning, Patrice.
And good morning. It is a Friday, everybody. We made it.
It is. Now, we could call this an immigration update, but I'd like to rather call it a deportation update. And we've got an update on the Maryland man. We've got a brand new Virginia man. We've got a Long Island man who actually happens to be a Rwandan sort of a terrorist. And get this, in our deportation segment here, Patrice, we have critter news. We are merging.
Oh my goodness!
Deportation news with critter news. So stand by, buckle up. Here we go. All right, Maryland father update. He's just a father. He's a Maryland man. He's just a father living a quiet life. That's all we heard about the Maryland man, right? Abrego Garcia, Kildemar Abrego Garcia. I've just noticed the accent is over the A, so we've been calling him Abrego Garcia. It's actually Abrego Garcia. I took Spanish for 2 years. Here's the thing about the father of three, right? Kept hearing it. Father of three. He is not, in fact, a father of three. He is a father of one. He had a baby with his wife. You know, the wife who tried to get a restraining order against him because he was beating her up.
After he beat her, yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. He had a baby with her, but the other two babies that Chris Van Hollen claims he's the father of, he's not the father of. In fact, they were stepchildren. And listen, step-parents are valid parents.
Yeah,
they
still
are.
Parents. Absolutely.
Nothing issue there necessarily. But again, we haven't heard the full truth. And so what happened was the father of the two stepchildren, the actual biological father, went to court claiming his ex-wife was dating a gang member. He was trying to get custody of the babies because his ex-wife was dating a gang member. Who's the gang member? The father of the year in the state of Maryland, Chris Van Hollen's favorite father. So that's more evidence, isn't it, Patrice?
It absolutely is. I said it on Will Kane's show last night. Democrats make martyrs out of misfits. And this guy, attached to human trafficking, spousal abuse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, this guy needs to go. And even if they bring him back, he probably will be deported. So they need to just stop it at this point.
So let's turn from Maryland to Virginia, because Virginia's been jealous. It's like, hey, we've got plenty of illegal immigrants that need to be deported. How about a Virginia man story? Well, you got your wish. A Virginia man, I kid you not, this is how it's described here. A Virginia man in a courthouse raid. He had a day in court on a state of Virginia legal violation. And after the judge dismissed the case against him, he walked outside the courtyard and was immediately detained by ICE agents who knew he was there in Charlottesville and arrested him immediately. It's been caught on video, and everyone's showing this video saying, this is outrageous. The judge dismissed the charges against him. And it's like, well, yeah, but he's in the country illegally. He violated, he got into trouble with the law. And so he is right for, there is a deportation order open for him. And so he has been, get ready for him to be the next cause celeb. I want Mark Warner and Tim Kaine to take up his cause, shall we?
A pilgrimage down to let's see them do it.
Let's go. Also, I do like this one. This is the Long Island man. Long Island man, according to New York Post, he's actually a Rwandan war criminal. He's been hiding in Long Island.
Goodness.
Yeah, he's been hiding in Long Island as a beekeeper for 20 years. You remember Rwanda, the massacre of people in Rwanda in 1994, the Rwandan genocide. Yeah, this guy has been in the country since 2004. He claimed to be a refugee during the Clinton administration. His name is Faustin Sabukunzi. He's now 65 years old. He's been, I kid you not, developing connections with wealthy Hamptonites, one of whom allegedly paid to spring him on $250,000 bond after his arrest Tuesday in Bridgehampton, because he's been caring for his bees so he could get his organic honey. He's a war criminal. He participated in the Rwandan genocide, Patrice.
Can we just pause and say maybe we need to review all of the refugees over the past, 20 years to make sure they are not also perpetrators of violence, not just refugees? Ugh.
Yeah. Also, we're not even to the critter news part. This all happened yesterday. The FBI took custody of a New Mexico immigration judge named Juan Cano and his wife, took them into custody, accused them of harboring a gang member from the notorious Tren de Aragua gang from Venezuela, that's now been designated as a terror organization.
Yes.
They kept him in their home. They took selfies with them and posted them on social media. He's a judge. He's an immigration judge, and he was harboring a gang member in his home.
It's you can't get crazier than this. And I'm pretty sure I know what affiliation or political leaning he has.
Of course, it's New Mexico. All right, and finally, you just said you don't get crazier than this? All right, let's kick it. It's Critter News time. Let's go. A special illegal immigrant criminal deportation Critter News story. In Florida, an illegal alien from Guatemala has been apprehended and is en route to be deported back to his home country. He has been arrested for breaking the law. What law did he break? He threw a rock and injured the federally endangered great white heron. This guy's a fisherman. He's sitting there by the water. He's fishing. He sees a heron. He takes a rock, throws it. It's horrible. This poor heron has a broken wing now because of this jerk. And he's been now put into custody, and he's going to be deported to Guatemala. I want to hear the liberals protect this guy and say he should stay.
My question is, who does PETA side with? Does PETA side with the heron, or do they side with the illegal immigrant who was trying to hurt an animal here?
Not just PETA, every single liberal Democrat. I want to hear every single liberal Democrat says, no, Chris Van Hollen needs to go down and save this guy from deportation to Guatemala. Now, he won't, because what this guy did is so objectively horrendous, because he harmed this great white heron.
Yeah.
An animal, an endangered species. That's right. But if every single Democrat that voted against the Laken-Riley Act, the bill that would force deportation of an illegal immigrant criminal so that they don't end up murdering a woman, hundreds of Democrats in the House of Representatives voted against that bill. I want them now to say something about the white heron, because, see, that's where they get their money. They don't get their money. They don't get fundraising from people who are worried about the rape and murder of an innocent woman in Georgia. No, they get fundraising from the environmental wackos. So every single Democrat should say, do you think this person should be deported? I want their answer. Do you think anyone will ask them?
I'm not going to hold my breath, Larry.
Nor will I. Nor will I. All right, we've got a little bit more on the immigration front in a moment. You're going to hear about a judge blocking a pretty reasonable idea that you should prove you're a citizen before you vote in this country. But according to a Democrat-appointed judge, oh, hell no, we can't have that. We'll give you the details in a moment. First, though, it's 8:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
It is illegal for a foreigner to vote in American elections. That's not a controversy.
Not controversial at all.
Nothing controversial about that at all. It is against the law. If you are from a foreign country, you're a citizen of another nation, you're not a citizen of the United States, and you attempt to vote, you are breaking the law. You should be prosecuted. Now, how do you enforce a law like that? Well, one way is when somebody goes to register to vote, you ask them to prove that they're a citizen of the United States. That seems pretty reasonable, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Boarding a plane, you have to prove you are who you are, right?
Many situations.
Hey, we have laws against underage drinking in this country. You go to a bar, want to get a cocktail, the bartender has to ask, can you prove that you're 21? Very similar to proving that you're a United States
Buying alcohol at a
citizen.
liquor store, you have to do that.
Same
Which,
thing,
by the way,
right.
is in a lot of black neighborhoods. So this racist argument about identification when it comes to our elections is ridiculous, too.
Trump administration is putting forth a provision that would mandate proof of citizenship when people register to vote. That's enforcing a law. That's what the executive branch is supposed to do. Legislative branch writes the law. Executive branch enforces the law. This is a reasonable and effective way to enforce that law. Yesterday, a federal judge appointed by Bill Clinton, her name is Colleen Collar-Catelli. Very nice alliteration there, I have to say. Although Colleen is spelled with a C. If it were spelled with a K, she'd actually have a KKK thing going on.
Ooh, do you think she might have changed it? Well, okay.
I would. If I were her, I would have, yes. Colleen Collar-Catelli decided that the Trump administration does not have the authority to ask people to prove their citizenship when registering to vote. You can't make it up. I wish I was making this up.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But here's the thing. So her argument is that this is the purview of states. States and localities should be determining what happens with the voters, the voting process, the registration process. But we also know that a lot of states have neglected to keep their voter registration list updated to ensure that people who are not eligible to vote, aka people who are dead, people who have lost their voting privileges, people who are non-citizens, a lot of states have turned a blind eye to that. Thankfully, in Virginia, we have a governor who said, "Oh no," and spent a lot of time last year ensuring that the Virginia government rolls, election rolls, were up to date, and he got a lot of pushback for it. So I don't understand why she thinks that this is a non-issue.
Democrats are against this idea because Democrats want foreigners to be able to vote. Democrats don't want any kind of restrictions on anyone on the planet voting in our elections. That's the only way to interpret their objection to this.
Yeah.
And now, instead of having to worry about their own political skin, they're finding judges to do their dirty work for them. And we know this. We know this because Democrat politicians have already admitted that they are having weekly meetings with attorneys general around the country to figure out how they can try to use the courts to block whatever Donald Trump is doing. This is, and we keep hearing, oh, it's a constitutional crisis, constitutional crisis. Yeah, there's a constitutional crisis because judges are overstepping their authority in the Constitution and trying to prohibit the executive branch from doing reasonable enforcement of laws that are already on the books. Scott Jennings, CNN last night, nailed it. Take a listen to this.
Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the President of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by these judges. They're not here to tell us. They're not here to tell us how to spend the money. They're not here to set broad federal policy. That is the president's job as elected by the people. These judges are supposed to be settling discrete, specific matters, not policy setting. I think Vance is right. I think Trump has a point. And these judges want nothing more to continue the lawfare.
I don't think anybody's going to be surprised to hear that you think Trump is
they're
right.
Doing this on
However,
I get it. You want individual federal judges who hate Donald Trump.
No, I don't.
To tie him up for 4 years.
No, I don't.
If you want a big policy questions decided, let the Supreme Court do it. But in the interim, the executive has to be allowed to govern.
Yeah, it was a lively discussion, as it always is. Yeah, pray tell. I'll tell you, pray. So that's Scott Jennings, obviously, always doing the right thing. But he's also making another good point. They know that Donald Trump is only in for one more term. And so the longer they can sort of play prevent defense and sort of waste the clock and try to run out the clock, the sooner they can sort of stifle him and keep him from doing what the American people wanted him to do as president.
That's very true.
This is also another reason why the Supreme Court should get off their cushy little butts and actually intervene here and get this taken care of, number one, if they do care about the Constitution. And number two, it'd be great to see some legislative backup here so that President Trump isn't the only one who's extending himself with executive orders. Either way, this needs to be fixed.
Well, absolutely. That's why you have a House and Republican and Senate held by Republicans. We should use that majority. And just to the point about these district judges making federal policy, it's not just national policy, it's sweeping. So, affecting the entire nation rather than just in particular states or particular regions. I think there really is a constitutional crisis around the over-exercise and the abuse of power by these judges. It's wrong.
8:23.
Discover a one-stop shop for exploring pro-America books and authors not driven by the mainstream media agenda. Listen to the All-American Book Club show, hosted by political veteran Eden Gordon Hill, Saturday at 5:30 a.m. on 105.9 FM and WMAL.com.
All right, Kurt Schlichter is next. Stay with us. It's O'Connor and Company.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:37 is what it is. It's O'Connor and Company. Larry O'Connor with Patrice Onwuka. Boy, we all have the allergies, don't we?
I think we do, Larry. That and a cold.
Right.
If you've heard me sniffing, I apologize.
Well, we're all allergic to Chris Plant, and he's joining us coming up in 30 minutes. But right now, senior columnist at Town Hall, retired lawyer, retired Army Colonel Fulbert, thank you very much. And, of course, author, best friend of mine, and a lot of people don't know this, the man who actually came up with the idea of the scratch and sniff armpit deodorant ads in Manhattan. This was all his idea. He is, of course, the one and only Kurt Schlichter. Colonel Schlichter, good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, thanks. I guess I'm putting the fun back in fungus.
Exactly. That would be the jock itch ads. Those are coming next. Kurt
Yikes.
has a brand new book out. It's on sale today. I have been very excited about this book. This is a departure. It's not one of the commentary books that Kurt is famous for. It's not one of the Kelly Turnbull series, 8 in the making. 9th one, I think, is underway now in that series of books. It's a brand new one, but here's what makes it really cool. He co-wrote this with his incredible wife, Irina.
Oh, wow.
And it is called Los Angeles, Silver Bullets on the Sunset Strip. Tell me about this book. This looks like sort of like a take on a film noir sort of, old Los Angeles kind of story. Is that what this is?
It's got an LA vibe. It's got a Chinatown vibe without the incest. Everybody's nose ends up intact. It's a fun book. And it's conservative. And I'm not supposed to say it's conservative because I'm limiting the market, but it's conservative. There's communists, there's Nazis, and there's werewolves and all sorts of stuff. It's fun.
Werewolves.
Werewolves of London.
Yeah.
So no, it takes place in the 1940s. So
yeah.
I'm interested. 1940s Los Angeles is this magical sort of era and location that I think we all romanticize. It was pretty cool. There's great movies written about that era. But are you able to track from the 40s sort of the disastrous path that Los Angeles and California headed towards that left it where it is right now?
Funny you should say it. Absolutely. That's about half the humor is comparing the present with the past. It is there's just a lot of shots at political correctness. There's just a lot of shots at the present insanity, and yet you've got this 40s thing. But you know what? I got to emphasize, it's fun. Irina and I want to make this fun, not one of those tedious, Netflix thing where you have to have, I'm a differently abled lesbian Hindu, and I've got issues, because the rest of you are well adjusted. It's just fun.
Well, Kurt, I'm reading the description on Amazon, which it's here right now. I'm looking at it right now. Go on an action-packed wild ride through the 1940s LA with private detectives Eddie Loud and Trixie Gamble. This sounds like it's going to be a good beachside read as we're coming up to the beach vacation season and, those long airline trips. But tell me, what sparked this? Why did you decide to write this book, and what was your inspiration?
Well, I've written a bunch of nonfiction books, basically saying society's going to fall apart, and I've written the Kelly Turnbull books, 8 of them, which say society's about to fall apart, and then I wrote The Attack, which was basically society about to fall apart. I wanted to write something that was a little lighter, a little more fun, and also I got the writing that hey, dames and broads kind of 40 language vibe, which is a lot of
that's fun. You sound like you're going to. Every character sounds like Harry Enton from CNN giving poll results.
Everybody's
right. I love that.
Everybody's got a Lucky Strike cigarette and a tumbler of booze.
Yeah. See here, pal. See here. Trump's approval ratings are down. You see? You hear me? All right. So the book is called Lost Angeles, Silver Bullets on the Sunset Strip. And, of course, the cover art is remarkable. Once again, we share the same artist for our book covers, Sean Salter, Salty Hollywood. He's a great graphic artist, and he's got comic books and graphic novels and stuff. Very excited about the launch of this book. And listen, I got to see you in Arena sort of collaborating, talking about the book over the course of the last year as you wrote it together. What was it like to write with your wife? I ask hesitantly.
Well, you remember that stuff about the alcohol?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, look, we actually, share a vision, and we're getting it down on paper, and we never had any arguments about it. We both threw in our ideas, and we just kind of said, "Oh, that's a really good idea. Oh, that's totally cool. That'd be hilarious. That'd be fun. That'd be exciting. That'd be neat." And we, stayed with our strengths. Hers was, kind of the vibe of the 40s. Mine was, of course, machine guns. But be with what you know.
And as far as I know, you're still together as a couple after this experience.
Well, I am in the process of taking her to the airport at the moment. But
she said she's leaving now.
She's listening.
And on the day of the book launch, she's out of here. So okay, all right, go. She needs a break. All right, well, Kurt, I wish
later your problem.
I wish you all the best on this book. Again, his columns at Town Hall. This week you had one that went absolutely supernova, as Donald Trump Jr. tweeted that as well. We love your writing, and I love that you can bridge multiple genres like this. I'll be honest, I just got a copy of this. I started reading it, and I already love the tone of it. As you know, I'm heading out to California for my daughter's wedding, so this will be my reading material on the plane. And when I get down there, cannot wait to finish it. But already, I love it. I love the tone. I love the feel. I love the way you set the scene. It's called Lost Angeles, Silver Bullets on the Sunset Strip. Get it at Amazon right now by Kurt Schlichter. Kurt, well done, you. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing you and the family and everybody get married and everything this weekend. That's going to be amazing.
Kurt's going to be. So my daughter has they've started doing all of the tables for the wedding, and putting people together. And they've got they've got a name for each table, And Kurt, you'll be happy to know your table is called the Loud Table.
Oh,
of course it is.
We will be having a good time. And you will not. And by the way, you will not be the only Army officer there, retired or active duty. It's everyone thinks it's going to be a big Navy Marine Corps wedding, which it will be. But I know of at least 3 officers from the United States Army who will be there, Kurt. So you won't be alone.
Wow. Well, I'm not wearing my uniform because I'm too fat.
That's fair enough. You know what? That's the reason I'm not wearing my uniform.
I mean, I'm not Vindman-y, okay? I'm not Vindman. I'm not about to
you're no Vindman. All right, Kurt. We'll see you. I'll see you in a couple of days, man. It is 8:45. WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the 5s. That is 100% true. They put together these very clever names for each table.
Yeah.
And Kurt Schlichter's table.
Why not call it the party table then? I would just call it the party table.
Did you know that before my daughter reported to the Naval Academy for her induction, she had not fired a gun yet in her life? She was 17. And Colonel Schlichter took Veronica to the gun range in L.A.
Wow.
And gave
that's
her
beautiful.
a full briefing on firing a weapon and everything. So Kurt's been a big part of her life and career. So we're excited for the wedding. Well, what do you do when you're Jim Acosta or you're Don Lemon? Two humiliated, fired ex-CNN employees. Their journalism was so bad that even CNN had to say enough. No more.
Or worse, no one else picked them up afterwards, right?
Nope, nobody did. But what they did was, you know what, and I got to hand it to them. They said, you know what, we're going to start our own thing. And you know what, Substack is a very real, viable option right now.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. Jim, I keep it real. I make fun of Jim Acosta. He deserves to be ridiculed. He's got tens of thousands of subscribers on Substack.
Wow, on his Substack. Okay.
He has built a very influential, well, I don't want to say influential, but he's built a popular, well-trafficked Substack, and, you know, you get a free subscription, and then you can charge for added value content.
Yes.
And if even, 5% of his subscribers are paying him $8 a month, he's making a good paycheck here.
That's not bad.
So he and Don Lemon joined forces for a podcast, the two of them. Here, take a listen to what it sounds like.
But I think it's another nail, especially in the confidence that people have in corporate media, the trust that they have in corporate media. And I think that is why folks like you, over here on Substack, doing extremely well. I'm doing okay on Substack. Also,
you're doing
on
great.
YouTube, doing
Watch
well.
Don on Substack.
Yeah.
Watch Don on YouTube.
Yeah. And so I think that's why we're having such success. And they don't care if you're on the North Lawn and the South Lawn of the White House with pancake makeup on and all the lights and the shiny desks. They want people to
listen
like
to what they're doing here.
They're
trashing corporate media from the perspective of that. It's like, okay, we can kill it now, Jeff. So they're trashing the people who just paid them millions of dollars for years, and now they're saying nobody likes that. Nobody likes what we were doing a minute and a half ago.
And Larry, do you for 1 second think that if a new president of CNN or another network came back to them with a bigger sweetheart deal and gave them more money and airtime in prime spots, they wouldn't ditch their Substack and ditch their feeds, their podcasts, and go right back in to get the pancake makeup lights on the White House lawn? Come on now.
Jimmy Acosta would be back in that studio faster you can say abilio. It's 8:52.